I have to begin this one with a giant warning sign that none of what I'm about to say should be taken seriously. It's not backed by any facts, any education in writing. It obviously applies to anything I say about storytelling, but in this case, it's even more important to keep that in mind. This is strictly what I am looking for in a story and should not, under any circumstances, be taken as any sort of guide or any form of instructions for anyone else who's about to write or even just read a story. And it's about the hero's journey. I have been thinking about this sort of a plot device, character development device, more and more in the past few years, and these days I am not entirely convinced that I need that in my stories that I'm writing or reading. Not all of them at least, and not even in the majority of them, or even any form of character development if it's a story that happens within a shorter period of time. I am all for the protagonist failing and learning from those experiences, but I think it can be handled in a way that I won't find too on the nose and just so uniform, streamlined even. I've already mentioned these sort of checkboxes that I feel that stories these days have that your character needs to check before he's even considered a character, much less protagonist. I never want to just give the protagonist whatever he wants, needs for the occasion. I want the protagonist to struggle to an extent and to put in effort to grow. I just feel that I've read the portion of the story where the protagonist is vastly inferior to the antagonist too many times. All the twists, all the iterations of this section of the story, and I just don't think that I want to read about the coddling part of the protagonist's development unless I have a good reason to put that in the story and can keep it somewhat balanced and outside of what's considered required for a hero. I said it before, I like good protagonists in games, I like happy endings, but I don't think that I need everything that's usually associated with a hero, especially what I've talked about right now, the starting point, the handholding of a lost, not exactly sharpest child by the story and the author. Well, I will continue this in the next video, and now I'm going to switch to the Rapid Arrows Club and their newest adventure. Mirek just got discharged from the hospital, but not everyone's happy, and someone is going to try and get back at the club for, well, reasons that are pretty much nonsense. The last time they were right in the middle of offering Mirek a congratulatory flower for his discharge. And on the next page, we see Bamboo who threw a ball hitting the flower pot, destroying the flower, and immediately started running away right after committing the deed. The rest of the boys recognize the perpetrator and begin a chase. Yarka picks up the ball and Speedy hurls pejoratives like his favorite planter, but also bale or a large reservoir, and they are getting closer. Bamboo, obviously not wanting to get caught, is almost at the throwing distance. Yarka attempts it, but Bamboo at the last moment dodges right, and instead of him, the ball hits a window and breaks the glass. The owner jumps out, catches Yarka by the collar, and starts shouting to not run away, which Yarka is obviously not doing because he's aware that he broke the glass no matter the circumstances and is more than ready to pay for it. The situation gets de escalated by an officer who intervenes, sees that Yarka is a decent enough person, isn't trying to run away, or isn't behaving like some sort of a thief who the owner can just drag around. Yarka shows them his ID and is ready to get his savings to pay for the broken window. The rest of the boys are still pursuing Bamboo, and he, completely out of breath, arrives at the club room of the Brotherhood of the Cat's Paw, begging for asylum. In exchange for his rescue from his pursuers, he offers them a location of a cat with white paws that the Brotherhood would definitely be interested in for their talisman. The Rapidaros overhear that plan and get ready to thwart it, and will follow them the next day in the evening to make sure that the cat is safe and that the Brotherhood is not getting any weird artifacts. In the next chapter, it's evening, and the Rapidaros are following the Brotherhood as they are led by the bamboo towards their destination. Longpole is asking Bristles if he has the bait for the cat, a mouse, which he does, one of his favorite and best trained and tamed ones, and he's going to use the mouse to lure the cat towards them. They arrive at a house, and Bristles orders everyone to step forward with their right leg to get some more luck. Superstitious as always, they spot the cat and try to quote unquote offer it the mouse, but it's not working. The cat's not interested. Sitting on a roof of this small building, so they decide to use a ladder to climb to her and attempt to catch her from a closer distance. The first three easily climb up, and then it's Bamboo's turn, who basically destroys the ladder step by step, breaking the steps with each one of his own. When he also reaches the roof, one of the boys from the Rapidaros Club takes the ladder away, since they were able to follow them all the way here unnoticed. Then they get the caretaker of the building, telling him that the Brotherhood is trying to kill his cat. The Brotherhood tries to maneuver out of the situation, pretending that they are lost and trying to find their way to the theater, but that obviously doesn't work. They get a beating. Honestly, in my worthless opinion, they got away pretty much scot free, considering what they were about to do. And Bamboo finally demolishes the ladder completely on his way down, so he at least gets a shattered back and backside, as he said himself, begging for mercy from the caretaker. And while the boys of the Brotherhood are retreating, they promise revenge on the Rapidaros for their interruption. In the next one, Redcap calls for a club meeting, and when all the boys finally arrive, he tells them that his aunt somehow got her hands on a full crate of small ropes and that they could use them to create a net for this rope hut that, as was featured in one of the Young Herald issues of the Beaver's Dam. The boys are elated. Their old tent that they used to go on adventures is pretty much unusable at this point, so a sort of a replacement would be very much welcome. They go to the Redcap's aunt and she wants the crate back once they take the small ropes. They thank her and four boys are carrying the crate while Redcap is jokingly asking that if he can't help with carrying, he could maybe climb inside and get carried away with its contents. Speedy tells him that he should rather get on all four and try to lighten it up from down there, and their moving operation is seen by Bohosh, one of the members of the Brotherhood of the Cat's Paw, who gets really curious what's in that crate and why do they have so many ropes if they are going to use them for, well, something bad. Speedy promptly sends him packing, threatening that the crate could become his early grave unless he gets lost. He sprints to the Brotherhood, shouting that the rapid arrows have this crate full of strings and that the Brotherhood has to figure out what's going on in there. They sneak into the building where the club room is and Longpole tries to overhear what's going on with the ropes. Only hear something about a net. Inside, Mirek is saying that they should first make some blueprints for the hut before they start doing anything, while Yarka notices that someone is probably trying to spy on them behind the door, so he decides to quickly open them, and that sends Longpole tumbling inside, completely out of words, fumbling over his own tongue. After he gets a grand welcome from Mirek, who asks him what he would like, he manages to stutter out that they are not allowed to ever open doors out of the blue like that again, otherwise they'll see. So that marks the failure of the first attempt to find out what the Rapid Arrows are planning by the Brotherhood, and also where I'm going to stop this one, and I'm going to continue with the hero's journey and more about the Rapid Arrow's adventures.